Welcome everyone to episode 93 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today I welcomed a Minneapolis, Minnesota artist. His name is Ulovefoster. He actually reached out to me when I sent that email out in January looking for guests, and I'm glad to get him on the show this week. We discussed his different artist name changes that he had before he was Ulovefoster, and I kind of liked his take on the fact that before he was Ulovefoster, he kind of struggled with songwriting and kind of an identity, and I think he feels a lot more comfortable with where he's going the last couple years. He's got a couple EPs out. He previewed the song that he dropped on Valentine's Day and kind of what the story was behind that, and kind of how he doesn't really stick to any one genre. He describes just kind of, if he feels the production and the music, he's just gonna go for it and start writing and hopefully craft a great story. I also loved his take on just being comfortable with who he is as a person, and not, I think he said it as not really glorifying, being sad and things like that. He's trying to flip the narrative and just kind of uplift other people that share his story and just kind of help out, wherever he can. And I think that overall, he's just an artist that has a great message with what he's doing, and he's trying to do good for other people. And I think that's all, you can ask for at the end of the day as an artist. And I think he's got, a bright future ahead of him. I think things are looking up for him. And I, appreciate his support and just being here for this episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, to episode 93 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today I got a Minneapolis, Minnesota native, great artist right here, Ulovefoster. How are you, man?
Yo, good. How are you?
Great, man. And like I said, thanks for reaching out to be on the show and everything, and I'm glad to have you here. So we basically have the guests kind of give a little bit of background. How did you get into music? How long have you been doing it? Kind of just basic information for those that might not be familiar with you and what you do.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So, my family was in the industry. My mom used to tour and perform to make a living and stuff, and so did my aunt. My aunt ended up getting a little further than her, lived in LA for a little bit. And so it's always been in the family. It's in the blood. Everybody in my family makes music. I wrote my first song in third grade. And after that, I don't think I really wrote much, little poems here and there. But I didn't get consistent with writing until probably late middle school, and then I started recording with friends. We used to use little mic, or what are they called, rock band mics.
It's like an open mic.
What'd you say?
It's like an open mic, kind of.
No, go to my homie's house and use the rock band, the video game rock band.
The actual game, yeah.
We would use the rock band mic, plug it into his computer, and then wrap it in tissue. And so, we would just every day after school start recording and shit. And, I got into some other shit that took me away from music. And then, I don't know, I got really consistent maybe 5 years ago. Or not really consistent, but I started picking it up. And now I'm really actually getting consistent to where I'm continuously dropping, probably the last couple months.
So when did the whole Ulovefoster name come about? Did you always have that name you were kind of rolling with, or that's a new thing?
Hell no, dude. Fucking, let's see. I think my first official rap name was fucking Child Foster, or no, it was Foster Child. My last name's Foster. And I've always been I don't want to use an alias. I want to be myself type shit. So I've always tried to use either my name or some shit that represents me basically. So it started off with Foster Child, but instead of one I in child, it was three, because I was into that Third Eye Sharp. I was listening to Joey Badass heavy, and what, I can't even think of their collective now. But the Underachievers and shit like that. So, and then fast forward a little bit, when I got more consistent, 5 years ago with some friends of mine, my name was SB the God. It was Sad Boy to God. was a really embarrassing era for me. Um, but it was necessary. Like, you got to start somewhere, and those are my roots. Fucking S be to God. And yeah, after that, I was Michael Foster. That's just my middle and last name. And I wasn't the only Michael Foster on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff. So I was like, all right, I need something more original. And I've got this tattoo on my hands, Find Love. And it's just basically like a mantra I came up with. Do stuff you love, or do what you love, find people you love, and love yourself. And basically I tied that into my music, so I came up with Ulovefoster. And so yeah, sorry, that was a long ass answer.
No, that's good though. I mean, like you said, it's kind of funny. You look back on the old names, you're like, you kind of cringe. You're like, God damn, did I really do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's crazy. That's like that SB the God. That sounds like some SoundCloud rap shit though.
It was.
Yeah. That's funny though. So obviously, you know, Minneapolis, Minnesota. You know, I'm not really familiar with a lot of the music scene out there. So like, how do you view? Kind of like, is there a lot of up and coming artists coming out of there? Are there like, what's the hip hop scene like? Like, can you describe it for me, like from your viewpoint? Like, how does it look, and how do you kind of like stand out in that whole thing?
I mean, bro, we've got some OGs, obviously, like Prince. What is some old jazz dudes? I forgot their names. But we have had like plenty of OGs just put us on the map. But like the new era, bro, is going crazy. We've got a few people that have made it out. Like, I just worked with Bobby Raps on some shit. That dude is going nuts, dude. He writes for your favorite rappers, I guarantee it. Produces for them. Came straight out of, I think it was St. Paul. We've got Corbin. We've got shit. Bro, I don't know, dude. We've got a shit ton of people that you really need to check out. I could send you some shit for sure, like playlist out with Minnesota artists. But like Just Jimmy, that dude's coming up. Prince Riley, fucking some dope people here, dude.
It's almost like it's more underground right now. It's kind of starting to emerge. Yeah.
100%. We are just starting to get. Oh, fucking Casey Pluto, bro. Dude's been working with Kanye and all that shit, dude. Like, Minnesota's being watched right now. We are about to pop off.
Yeah, sure. I was curious for sure, because I think you're the first one from Minnesota I've even interviewed, to be honest.
Really?
I've interviewed people from like Milwaukee and from Chicago and stuff, like kind of near where you're at, but not in Minnesota. So I was like, I knew Prince, obviously, like everybody knows Prince from Minnesota, but I didn't know like kind of like where it's at now, because it's like kind of a different era and everything. But very interesting stuff. Have you ever thought about like, if you're ever gonna move elsewhere, or you're always kind of gonna be rooted in Minnesota, and you're kind of just gonna see what you can do from there, and just see if you can like make a career out of it?
Honestly, I have no clue yet. I've always been like, I'm gonna move to LA, but like, being realistic, like LA natives don't like outsiders, and yeah, you can get your shit popping over there, but like, you can't fucking go outside, dude. Like, you'll get robbed anywhere. That shit is fucking nuts right now. So, I mean, LA's out of the question, but I've heard Seattle's pretty cool. But I'm chilling right now for at least a year.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes to like the era we're in now. I think it doesn't really matter where you're at. You can have a career. You can make it for yourself where you're at. You know what I mean? You just gotta use your resources, use social media, use the internet, do what you gotta do, make connections, and you'll be good. So I think it's just based on the person. You know, some people, I think they like a change of environment every once in a while. Like if you've been in the same place forever, you might want to go and see other things, or just kind of try and work with other people. But
take a vacation. Don't move somewhere where it's like not safe.
I've always liked because I went to LA like 5 years ago, and I did not like it. Like downtown, I was like, this is not for me. I don't like this. Like, I'm not a fan of this. Like, I'll go to the beach. I'll go to like freaking Venice Beach or something, like, and just chill. But like the inner city, I'm like, nah, I'm not fucking with this.
But in the city, bro, this shit gets grimy.
Yeah, and I live near Cleveland, and that's fucking grimy as hell. So if that tells you anything, like, And I can only imagine New York, because I've always thought like New York is probably the worst. Like I don't think like New York City, like I don't think I would ever want to be.
I've never been there, but I want to low key move there.
Really?
I would just out of the blue move there for sure, just because the energy, dude. That just seems like a successful environment to be in. Yeah. If you do, like I've always like, people always say like, if you're around success, like you're gonna be successful. Like that's not true at all. Like if you're around success, that's great, but if you're not learning from those people you're around, you're gonna be stagnant as fuck. But I feel like I find inspiration in like the smallest shit, and just New York is so busy. I feel like it'd just be easy to get motivation from little shit, even if I'm not even, because I'm not living like lavish out here in Minneapolis at all. So like, I could rough it in New York.
Kind of similar too. It's like cold weather environment. Like you kind of gotta be like hardworking, blue collar a little bit. Like
I've got 2 snow dogs, so like I'm not trying to move to LA where they're gonna be fucking dying.
Yeah,
like
I was about to say they thrive in the cold weather. So yeah, makes total sense. So back on like the music tip, obviously, like, you have some releases already out, like on streaming and everything, a couple projects. So I'm curious to know like how making music now has been like the last couple years, because you said like before you had different names and stuff. Like was it different back then, like when you were writing songs and doing songs? Like have you got more comfortable now and you feel like putting yourself out there as like Ulovefoster, like now you feel comfortable where you're headed as an artist? Or
yeah, 100%. Like when I like this whole time, like this like 5 years that I've been taking this shit serious, I haven't had like big homies that are like, yo, you got to do this and that, or like clouded friends that are posting me to like get my numbers up and shit. Like everything I've done has been just off of watching others, learning from what they do, and just fucking honestly research online. Like I might as hell. Honestly, I forgot what your question was.
No, I mean you basically answered. It was just like you know, compared to a couple years ago, like you said, the SB to God thing. Like I feel like when you were probably doing songs then, you probably had no confidence in what you were doing, or little to none, compared to now.
Like me and my friends, it was 3 of us. We were in the Bleach Boys. That's what our group was called. It was just a bunch of sad ass shit, dude. Not that I make happy music now, because all my shit's sad, but there's beauty in the shit I make now. Back then, it was just like blatantly sad ass shit. Like we had a lot of influence from what are they called? I don't even listen to them anymore because I just felt like it was low key fucking me up a little bit. Suicide Boys. Like we were just super into that type of music, and it really showed in our music. And that's just not who I want to be, you know? I don't want to be like, yo, it's super sick to be sad, because it's not. Fucking, I've been sad, like, as sad as fuck since I was a child, and that shit is not fucking dope, dude. And I don't understand people that, like, try to glorify it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't fucking know, dude. I just want to be genuine. Like, obviously, I go through shit, and that's what I use music to, like, cope with it and just kind of process things. But I'm not glorifying it. At least I hope I'm not. I hope I don't seem like I'm glorifying it. It's not what I'm trying to convey.
Yeah. You're kind of just flipping the narrative, I think, because it's like, I understand what you're saying. You're trying to kind of just give your story through the music and not really just be all down on yourself 24/7. You know what I mean? And kind of just help people and uplift people. And I think that goes back to what you said about your name change, is like you're trying to spread love, you know what I mean, through pretty much everything you do. So I think that makes total sense, honestly. So, like, who are some influences now? Like, are you listening to different people that you're kind of drawing inspiration from, or has it kind of stayed the same or not?
Honestly, I have a lot of throwbacks in my playlist and a lot of local shit. Like, or at least people from my state who aren't local anymore. Trying to think. Let me look real quick, because I never fucking know who's in my playlist. People ask me that all the time. Wiley from Atlanta. That dude's fucking nuts. I don't know if you've heard of him. Realist K. That dude's insane. These aren't local people from Minnesota, just some people in my playlist. Some people from Minnesota, though, in my playlist would be Sam Hill. That's my brother. Let's see. Corbin, Just Jimmy, Swamonti. Bro, there's just a ton of people in my playlist. Jack K's. And then obviously like mainstream people. But they don't need a fucking spotlight, obviously.
Yeah, it's good to shout out the indies too, you know what I mean, the unknown artists. You mentioned Sam Hill, right? Yeah, you did a couple songs with him, right? So what's it like working with him?
I do most music with him. We used to live together. Like when I was at to God, he was a bleach boy.
Nice.
He was, I think his name was Scumbag. Cause he has that tattooed on his knee.
Well, what's it like working with him then?
Bro, it's like working with myself, honestly. Like we're like the same people almost. Just like yin and yang. I don't know. We balance each other out for sure. We literally lived in the same room for over a year, I think. We've been friends for like 5 years.
Nice. So who is like producing a lot of the stuff now? Do you have like a certain person you're going to and like a certain person to mix all the stuff, or are you kind of just doing a lot of it on your own?
Yeah. So I have 2 engineers that I work with. One, and honestly, like equally, like neither of them I work with more than the other, I'd say. But Basie and Spamonti. Those are the 2 people I work with my vocals and shit. Basie's not recorded. He's made a few of the beats that I've recorded on. But honestly, like most of my shit has come from BeatStars. Like I've just bought beats off of there. I'm dropping a song on Valentine's Day. That was produced by Basie. And then I'm dropping that song that I mentioned with Bobby Raps. He didn't produce it. Shrimp Nose produced that. And they're both from Minnesota. So that'll be dope. And I've actually got another beat from Shrimp that I have to write to still. But I'm trying to get into like actually buying shit from people and actually working with them on the beats instead of just going to BeatStars and getting some like cookie cutter shit.
Yeah.
So.
About to say, you get more in depth when I think you work one-on-one, and you can kind of go back and forth on ideas and just kind of
build relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Get everything kind of down pat. So obviously you mentioned the Valentine's Day song. I saw you're pushing that on like Instagram and stuff. Like, what is that going to be about? Like, what can people expect from that song?
Shit, get your Kleenexes. Fucking, if you're lonely on Valentine's Day, this song is for sure for you. You will relate for sure. Honestly, it's just about like, not gonna use names obviously, but like just a girl I wasn't doing well. I wasn't making the right decisions in the right, like at the time I wasn't. So I've been working on myself, and it's just kind of like, yo, I want out type shit. So I don't know.
We talking more R&B vibes then, I assume?
No, honestly. And that's another thing. Like I don't stick to a specific genre, I don't think. Like if I hear a beat and it just fucking hits, dude, and I'm feeling it, like I have to feel, there's something in me. I can't describe it at all, but like when I hear the right beat and it fucking hits any song I've made, I've usually felt that song. Like I've forced a couple, obviously, but like all my good, like my great songs, when I heard that beat the first time, it was just, I felt some shit. And so there's no, like, I don't think it's R&B. I'd say it's alternative pop punk or something. Bro, I couldn't even tell you. I don't know. But it's really nice. It's really fucking, it's beautiful.
Well, now I'm excited to hear it, because if we can't even pinpoint it, like, it's got to be
I'll
something
send it
crazy.
to you. When we're done here, I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out, man. Now, I did see as well, I think that you said you're prepping, like, an EP for March. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, today I was thinking about that, and I was like, I might as well just, like, drop singles with visuals. Or, I mean, I could still just drop an EP and then do individual visuals, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Figured that out yet. So
It's weird. I always battle with that myself, because I've been self-releasing shit, and I'm like, do I want to put out an EP and get rid of all these records I worked hard on, or can I just, like, spread them out and be like, I'm gonna drop a single, then I'm gonna drop a single, then I'm gonna, like,
because it's good to have a vault.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't want to just get rid of all the sauce all at once. You're like, fuck, like. But yeah, I totally feel that. But, like, I think that the individual thing is, like, you can kind of spread them out and make them each, like, a moment for people and kind of present them that way and everything. Like, kind of what you're doing with the Valentine's Day track. I feel like you could put a lot behind that.
Yeah.
People kind of, like, understand the message behind it a lot more.
Exactly.
Than putting out the just EPs, but it's to each their own, pretty much, I think.
Right.
So I don't know if you've ever thought about this yet. I've been asking this question to a lot of, like, songwriters, artists. What do you think, like, when someone hears one of your songs or your EPs or whatever, what do you think you want your lasting impact to be? Like, when they hear the song, what do you want them to take away from it at the end of the day?
Some type of feeling. Just because, like, I've been through a lot of shit, bro, and, like, it sounds super cliche to say this, but, like, I am, like, numb most of the time to anything, most shit. I'm just like, whatever. Fuck it. Like, there's very little things that, like, fucking grab me, and it's usually art related or love related that, like, actually fucking can do something to me. I don't know. It's fucked up. Again, not trying to, like, glorify things, but I just want people to feel something. Mm-hmm. Like, whether it's sad or a realization you have, like, listening to what I'm saying about a relationship that you get from a relationship you had in the past, or, like, a realization from the past or whatever. I don't know, but just feel something when you listen to my shit. I'm trying to fucking touch your heart.
Mm-hmm. Goes back to the whole love thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, anything, emotion, you know? And that goes back to your story, too. I think it's just, like, that's your unique way of sharing your story, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody's story is the same, especially as an artist. But, like, I think that's the thing about music. It's, you could be anybody, and you could make your songs relate to a total stranger. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't know that other people are going through the same shit you're going through somewhere. Like, a lot of times it feels like you're all alone in these circumstances, you know what I mean? But, like, music is a great example of, you can just put it out there, and you'll have people hitting you up like, bro, this song, like, I totally resonated with what you said in this, or this whole thing.
Universal.
So, yeah. That's what makes it great, man. Like, totally. So, obviously, you know, you got this single coming up. You got some other songs, videos, and stuff. Are you doing any live shows or anything else that we can expect for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the rest of the year, but coming up in March on the 4th, I'm going to be performing downtown Minneapolis at Poorhouse. I'm not on the flyer or anything, but Bobby asked me to come perform our song on his set, so that'll be cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick, man. So, last few questions here. These are questions I ask on every episode. The first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself a piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
I would fucking... Bro, I used to be a prodigy. Like, I was incredible on tenor saxophone, baritone sax. I was decent on guitar and bass guitar and all that shit. But bro, I would tell myself to stick with the instruments and travel to the city, meet some kids in the city, because that's where the real like music heads were, bro. Like none of the kids in the suburbs were on shit with the music. So, because if I were involved in the city music scene at my age when I was in high school, it would have been a rap. Like I would have been on, to be honest. But it's whatever. We all have our own paths. So I don't know. I guess I wouldn't really even change anything because shit's coming together right now. To be honest.
So let's flip it then. 10 years from now, where do you think you see yourself in your life and your career?
Shit. My only goal with music is to like have a comfortable living. I don't like care if I get famous, like huge or nothing. If I can figure out a way to fucking live off this shit, bro, I'm good. Like make sure my family's good. Like my family to be. So I don't have any kids. I have 2 dogs. But if I can just, be comfortable, I'm good. That's where I want to be. If it's better than that, shit, dope.
And that's the crazy thing. You really don't need that much to make that happen, too. Like, I think people kind of overthink that. Like what you said about being famous, it's like you don't need to be famous at all. As long as you got a core group of people that believe in what you're doing, like you'll be good right there. You can make a living off that.
Yeah. As long as I got my family and my friends, bro, my dogs, fucking, I don't know. I don't need much.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Simple man problems. Like, don't need a ton to be happy, for sure. So, do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
Stop tagging half your friends list on Facebook on new drops. Fucking.
That's a bar.
Get out. Low key. Get out there and make friends in the scene. I don't know, dude. Just keep doing what you love. If you don't love this shit, if it's a nuisance to you, don't do it. Find something else.
You always got to do what you love, man, in life in general. Because if you're not, why the fuck are you doing it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Totally, 100%, man. Well, that's all I have for you today. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, man, coming up, all this music. Looking forward to the Valentine's Day drop, all the other songs you got coming out. Good luck at the show. Keep doing your thing, man, and thanks for the support once again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone. That was episode 93. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.